Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much indeed for joining us for our latest episode. We're very, very excited about this one. It's got some incredible panelists, as Sarah mentioned, and also a very special guest host that we'll introduce in a second. But I provide a little bit of context, so apologies to those people who are regular viewers and joiners. You've heard the same thing over and over again, but hopefully we've been consistent. But for those new people who are joining us today and joining the community, thank you very much. This all started over a year ago now, when the first sort of waves of COVID and lockdown started hitting the UK. And it caused a lot of real challenges for a lot of real people. Some of it was very, very sad, very, very tough times in terms of health, but there's lots of different parts of people's lives that were being impacted, and impacted in a way that arguably no one had ever seen or experienced before. We didn't kind of have those techniques and tactics at hand to really help our way through it. And Sarah and I got together and started thinking about, there's got to be something that we can do to help people, to help ourselves. And there's got to be a discussion, there's got to be a debate about how this has to change things. This has to help us understand how can we make things better for ourselves and our communities and our family and our work. And it kind of reached that point where we're thinking, like, if a global pandemic doesn't help us change things and isn't a big enough catalyst to change things for the better,
exactly,
we're in a really bad place as a society. And so that's where Life More Extraordinary was born. And it's something that, like I say, continues to evolve. It's our way of bringing together people with inspiring stories, harrowing stories, being open and sort of transparent about what they've been through, and sharing that with the community. It is a community, so please do share comments and questions in the chat window. We'll be sort of referring to those throughout the session. Today we've got quite a special episode, as I say. We're going to talk about The Show Must Go On. We've got some wonderful panelists, but before I hand over to Sarah to introduce them, I want to introduce our guest host. So this is the first time we've ever had a guest host, I think, on the show, so it's quite impressive. So I'd like to introduce you, everybody, to Caroline Morgan, who is joining us as a co-host this morning.
Good morning.
For those who have
Thanks for
read,
having me.
No, thank you for joining us. And for those who have read the sort of the information before, you will know that Caroline is a performer, a singer, and a talent manager, and she has an incredible portfolio of experiences and skills that hopefully she's going to spend some time talking to us a little bit about this morning as well. Before Caroline says hello, I'd like to ask Sarah, do you mind just sort of introducing the show a little bit more and our panel as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And must just mention as well Caroline's podcast herself, which is massively in line with Life More Extraordinary. It's Inspire Our Nation. So do check that out. Inspire Our, because she's cool, Nation, rather than R. Yeah, so Inspire Our, the letter Nation. But check that out for Caroline. But yeah, without further ado, because quite frankly, the show must go on, and we want to hear how it did, if it did, what on earth happened to the show over this past crazy year or so we've been trying to live. And like, we have some fabulous people. I'm going to let them tell you who they are and what a little bit about their story. Kimberly Davis. Kim Davis. Good morning. And it's a really early morning, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Okay, even
Thank
earlier.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss this. This is awesome.
And live from the US at what o'clock?
At 6:13 a.m.
Woohoo! You are very welcome. Kimberly, tell us a little bit about you, what living lockdown has been like for you, and kind of highlights, lowlights, what's going on.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm a singer. I've been singing since birth. So that means just came out singing. Went to all kinds of musical high schools, musical elementary schools. Everything for me was music, singing. Sing, baby, sing. That's the family reunion, the wedding, like whatever's going on. Go ahead and sing, Kim. So that's what I've been doing. I started singing professionally in high school. I had a group then, so it started early for me. And I would never have thought that what would stop me from doing what I do and my passion would be a pandemic. Like, what? That just threw me for a loop. You know, I mean, we were literally on tour and had to get like snatched back. We did like 3 gigs. We were like, woo, woo, everybody's ready. We're on a tour bus. We're packing bags. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's done. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So for somebody that's what you do all day, every day, it was traumatizing. So literally spent the first 3 months like, yeah, this is not going to last. This is going to be 3 months and it's going to be over. We're going to be back to working and everything. And then you got the 4th and the 5th and the 6th month. And now you're staring at the wall like this.
Oh yeah, I recognize that face.
Yeah. And then you start reaching for the bottle. You're like, well, it's like 5 o'clock somewhere, you know, and all right, well, I'm hungry. Maybe, okay, what time? All right, it's only 3 a.m. Okay, wait, I'm still hungry. Like it's turned into your no schedule whatsoever. You know, you eat, you drink, you go out, you can't even, you know, you don't even take a shower like until like at the nighttime because you don't know what time it is. It's just a mess.
I'm really glad that wasn't just me, Kim.
No, it was everyone. Believe me. I was like, yeah, I'll do it later. Like for what? I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You know, and then it turned into you know, the band because you know we're so close. We spend more time together than with our families. And so we would just start Zooming each other, calling each other, making sure everybody was good, checking in, making each other laugh, you know, bringing up memories that we might have had and things that we want to do. So then that was good, you know. And then I found myself saying, wait a minute, this is going a little bit longer than expected. Maybe now I have the time because everyone wanted me to give like vocal lessons. Do you give vocal lessons? You know, I used to host a lot of functions and at the end of every function, they always wanted to know if I could, you know, give vocal lessons, but I never had the time to do it because I was never really around. So that was my opportunity to start She Sings. Oh my goodness. So much fun. First of all, for me, it's not just vocal lessons, you know, because my life is on the stage. Because why? Life is the stage, right?
Oh, so, yeah. Well, you've got to remember, though, most of us weren't stepping off a tour bus to then come home. Most of us were leaving an office to then set up an office in home. But, you know, but I'm happy to live vicariously.
Sorry.
Oh, Sarah, I love you.
There's no passing thing. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to mute Lou. Hang on.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So it was you know, basically a time to pull that all together. And like, you know, Oliver was saying, something good had to come out of all of this mess. Like something, if you didn't get the memo or the brick upside the head, then I mean, what are you supposed to do? And She Sings, and I had so much help. Everyone helping me, Caroline behind it, you know, and it took nothing to say, this is what I want to do for the people to start coming. So now I have like students from every continent. It's awesome. Zoom is a beautiful thing. I could care less about Zoom. Like maybe 2.5 years ago, I was like, Zoom what? Zoom where? You know what I mean? And so now it's like, what? Zoom, let's do this lesson. And I have students, all kinds of students. And it's not just a vocal, like I said, it's more of a mentoring kind of thing to where I'm teaching them how to get on stage and perform, how to, you know, how to hold the microphone, how to get out of a car, you know, like a lady, you know what I mean? Like all kinds of things. It's a mentoring thing, you know, how to audition, how to talk in an interview, you know, so it's not just, it's not just that. You know what I mean?
I quite often do that in an interview. Yeah. And you do your scales. Yeah. You do your scales. Perfect. I'm going to next time.
Yes, you do your warm-ups. So that's what's keeping me busy, and that's what's getting me through all of this until it's over. I mean, we do have a schedule. Hopefully, it will happen and things like that. But yeah. That's what's going on with me.
Oh, that's incredible. We will be digging into some more of that. And that's just, it's so great to hear kind of, you know, the kind of the ups and the downs there. Yeah, and we've got other panelists. Lynsey, can I just come to you next? Because you're joining us from Austria, so we're in the US with Kim, amazing, and Austria with Lynsey.
Yeah, I didn't have to get up quite so early. I'm an hour later than you guys, so it's all good.
And it was like,
I wish I was as on it as Kimberly is. So at this
maybe another coffee, but yeah.
I forgive. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the coffee for sure.
Good coffee.
Yeah.
So Lynsey, what happened for you, Lynsey? Because I think we can hear
what happened to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this pandemic, it was a weird year for everyone, right? And I've been in musical theatre for 20 years. I trained as a dancer, and I live out here. I do the state theatre circuit here. I already had a daughter, and in lockdown, it's like Kimberly said, you have your routine, and for me, it was you go and you train, you have your rehearsals. You go and do your show, and then suddenly you're kind of stranded. And I was so grateful for my first daughter in lockdown. I thought, let's make another one before that daughter.
Oh my god. And here she is. Look what you made. I mean, that is more than a little lockdown side hustle.
I love it.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
Interesting year, and similar to Kimberly, really. I've gone back to teaching now. Yeah. I do a lot of voiceover work. I've always done voiceover work, but I'm starting to intensify that. I speak tutorials for surgery now, stuff I never used to do. I just used to do the opposite. And so things have changed in many ways.
That is amazing, and thank you for you and Nora joining us. And how old is baby Nora now?
She's now 4 months.
4 months. Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. Are we her first live show, Lyns?
Yes.
Amazing.
Debut.
We are honoured to have her debut, and thank you, Lynsey, for sharing your story with us. And finally, on our panel, I'm Graeme. Graeme, not with a quick reminder, but Graeme, you got significantly famouser in lockdown, didn't you? A radio show and a super group. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, it's I wouldn't say famous. It's just I've always loved helping people. It's sort of been a thing that I've been doing for about 35, 40 years. It gives me joy. So I'm Graeme Godfrey, affectionately known as Nobby in some circumstances, which we'll come on to later. I'm the founder of Passionate About Business, and that was formed through just my ethos is, if you love what you do, then it's not like work.
That's right.
And all the rules go out the window, and if you get a knock, you just get back up and do it again because you love it. So passion. That's for me, that's what it's all about. So I loved what you said, Kimberly, about changing, about using this as an opportunity. I look at the pandemic as a change accelerator. So it's something that forces change. I'm a business mentor and positive mindset coach, and that's about getting people to stand back from their life and look back in again. And we've all had an opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. What I focus on is about changing people's lives. I know it sounds a bit extreme, but I'm just all about changing people's lives because I managed to change mine. Since lockdown, I started a podcast a year ago called Passionate About People, and that's about getting all types of people just to talk about their journey. So when you said, you failed loads of times and fear, that all comes in. So I'm loving that. I've done 21 podcasts in the last year.
Nice.
I'm a radio show host. So play jazz, funk and soul from the 80s and 90s. It's called Nobby's Feel Good Radio Show. And it's about spreading positivity and love and the feel good factor across the UK and the world, if you think big enough. And I've also, very briefly, I was in my car listening to a radio interview with Caleb Followo, who said that when he eventually performs live, he's going to burst into tears. And I just thought, wow. So in that moment, the supergroup was formed in my car. And nice. I decided, because I coach musicians and all sorts of different people, that I wanted to support live music in the UK. And I've now got a group of 35 musicians from a cross section of the music industry I've got artists, vocalists, songwriters, record producers, DJs, and we all come together twice a month to share ideas. And it's all about supporting musicians. It's about helping them with mindset, and it's about creating business opportunities so they can earn money through this pandemic. So lots of things going on. It's for me, it's been a great time.
Yeah.
So that's me. That's what I do.
Kimberly, let's dig in a bit more into
Sounds great. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's funny what Graeme was just saying about positivity. And, Kim is all the way in the USA, 6:50, whatever time it is in the morning, and you kind of bounce on here, happy, positive. Do you wake up like that, or do you really have to get yourself into some kind of mindset with positive affirmations?
I literally wake up like that. And when I'm not like this, people are looking at me like, what's wrong? What happened?
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that, because like even the we have people, maintenance guys in the building who I just love them. I see them every day. Good morning. And so one of them just walked up to me and he was like, every morning, no matter what's going on, you're smiling and you're saying hello to me, because people just walk past, they don't speak to him. He's just like the maintenance guy. I'm like, no, he's a person, and he's funny if you get into him and stuff like that. So that's Kimberly all the time.
And I agree with you. Because I've known,
so I have, I have multi-sides.
And I've known you a long time now, and I was looking through Facebook, and Facebook has this habit of giving those, those memories.
Those memories.
Years ago. And it pops up and you think it's like that old family album. You thought, oh, I forgot about that picture. I'm really embarrassed or whatever. And it's like, you think, oh yeah, I thought it looked great at the time, but that's me. But there was something online that I had to share with you. It was so funny. It was 12 years ago, and it was at the Village Underground in New York City. And this is where they have an open mic night. It's not open anymore, I don't think. No, it's closed now, isn't it? That was a melting pot for incredible musicians, artists. And you were one of the hosts there, and I was over there, and I was sang out there, and I remember going, Kimberly, I love you, you're so amazing. And I'm looking back going, oh my God, how embarrassing. But this was a time when you were just kind of, not so much starting up, but you were carving your way. I mean, one of the influences in your life was Ron Grant. Can you tell us about who Ron Grant is and why he was one of your inspirations?
Yeah, Ron Grant, he initially was a CEO for Sony Records. So that means he was, in partnership with Tommy Mottola and stuff like that. His job was to just find talent and everything like that. So when he stopped working for Sony, he just started open mics. He knew a ton of singers, a ton of talented musicians, and everyone was always, whatever you need, we're there for you. But it would be celebrities coming through, to sing and stuff like that. It was basically the hot spot. And for me, I was in a house band at the time, and he would have all these gigs, all, out of the country. And he would say, Kim, can you do these gigs with me? And it would usually be like 15 people on stage, 8 singers. So this is what I would sing. Hey, all night. That would just be my only note, You got 16 people singing. So all you heard me say, hey, in harmony with somebody.
But I bet you said it beautifully.
No, it was flawless, but that's all it was.
Oh, it was great memories.
And so he asked me to do a gig with him in Thailand, and I was the only singer. And he stood on to the side and he just watched me work. He looked like I didn't know. And I was like, yeah, because I'm always on stage with 16 people. Mm-hmm. So he finally looked and he said, okay, wait a minute. Something's, you need to be my partner. And so he said to me, come host with me. And he taught me everything. And I was like, host what? You talk in front of people? And he's like, girl, please. And he taught me how to do it. And now it's just like something that just comes naturally. I watched him work the crowd. I watched him know who to call next. I watched him tell the band to, play extra long because we're running out of time. I just learned a lot of little tricks from him. Ron Grant was everything. We called him the Godfather.
Absolutely.
Open mic music, you know what I mean? He was just that dude.
He really was. And it's like, it was, well, with God rest his soul, he's no longer with us at the moment. It was 6 years now. I think the anniversary of his death was the 26th.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah, it's flown by, and those influences in your life are incredible. So Kim, during the lockdown, unfortunately, we had to cancel a lot of gigs that we had arranged, Ibiza, gigs in London. It was really disappointing, but you still managed to perform during lockdown. You did At Home with the BBC, which you filmed in Central Park with Nile Rodgers and Chic and Rebecca Ferguson. That was fun. And the Shapeshifters, tell us about that as well. You did something with them online.
So the first song, Life is a Dance Floor, like hit the charts. And then we turned around for 2020 and released Second Chance, maybe like February. Honestly, it was a dub. Like March, it was over. Everything shut down. So I never got to perform it. So now I'm like, okay, we've got Life as a Dance Floor and Second Chance, but then we turned into 21 and we recorded another song, and we're, Simon is right now trying to finish it up, touch it up, add whatever instruments he wants to add. But so then that'll be 3 songs that we have. And I'm just looking forward to, Ibiza, Croatia, Quaglinos. I don't care.
It's going to happen.
But it's gonna, the main thing is to just keep doing it. Like, Graeme said, you don't stop. It just, if you hit a wall, you just break it down, a fence, jump over it. There's just things to do. There's definitely things to do if it's your passion. If you're not passionate about it, then it'll be like, oh, well, I'll just sit here on the couch and watch Columbo. But no, you're not doing that.
Yeah, and we've managed to keep going in a working relationship.
We have to.
During Zoom, we have Zoom, thank God for Zoom, and be able to still do what we need to do and connect and have radio interviews and do stuff online. So it's still happening.
Yes. And it's better that way. I mean, if you don't pursue your passion regardless, it's like slowly dying if you don't. So you just got to keep doing something that's going to make you happy, whatever it is.
Agreed.
Kimberly, I love that. I love that idea. And also kind of, the idea that you can do more than being sat on your couch watching Netflix. Interestingly, you mentioned Columbo. I happen to know that Columbo is an absolute favourite of Lynsey's. From
my favorite. I'm talking about every episode at least 100 times. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know you were going to mention Columbo there, but there have been kind of guys. There have been. I went to school with Lynsey. I'm just going to fess up here, but I remember.
How very dare you?
I'm sorry, Lynsey. I've got to go there. I mean, Columbo.
You're gonna make me cry.
And they were. When we were all kind of like having crushes on kind of Beverly Hills 90210, she goes, I've met this guy. There's something of a Columbo about him. And so she was kind of, that would be the, Look, she's walked the camera. She walked the camera.
He's the best thing on TV.
Sorry, Lynn.
I was just going to get out my box set. I've got my Columbo somewhere.
Oh my God, Lynsey, you got the box set.
I have the box set. But to be honest, I didn't watch it once during the whole pandemic. It's kind of weird because I don't know why, but there's an Austrian pop group out here and they did a whole song about Columbo.
I love it.
I want to watch Columbo with you. I want to watch Columbo with you. And somehow it died for me then.
The Columbo magic's gone. But Lynsey, you weren't stuck on your sofa. You were kind of driven by different passions in lockdown, and kind of you were kind of thinking about reevaluating and doing things differently. What was going on for you?
Yeah, and it came maybe at a good juncture in my life. I kind of not hit a wall, but I was, how can I say, like in the theatre world, I was thinking of maybe going in a different direction, possibly, and then this hit, and then the rug is pulled out from underneath you, and we carried on to some extent at the theatre. I'm part of a repertory company, or I was. In Austria, and we would stream our dress rehearsals of previous shows. We would just try and see what we could do. And in Austria, it wasn't quite as bad as the UK. We did have this hiatus, and then shows did start up again in September for 2 months, I think, and then everything was closed down. We had a great furlough system, though. I really can't complain. the problem with the pandemic was nobody knew how deadly the virus was or how dangerous it could be for pregnancies. And I decided to have another baby. And, you know, as a geriatric prego, as they call anyone over 40, it was just advised that I stop because, you can only wear the mask. I mean, it's kind of difficult to do singing rehearsals with masks on. And once you're on stage, you weren't wearing masks. And at that time, we were tested once, you know, and now it's kind of regular thing. They test performers twice a week, at least, to get things back on track. So, yeah, it was a time to reevaluate everything. And the thing for me, I noticed when lockdown hit, it was a shock at first, but actually, as much as I love my job, I am someone that puts everything into it. And the release you feel when you don't have to prove yourself every day. I was always in work an hour before, going through my material, warming up, doing my vocal exercises. And then it was actually quite liberating. Actually, there's nothing to prove today. You know what I mean? I can hang out with my kid.
Of course.
After a while, that also, you know, you kind of crave it again. You want that pressure on you a little bit, maybe, and see how far you can go, if you can hit that note or really nail that dance solo or whatever.
Lynsey, you've had quite an adventure though, haven't you? I mean, you talked about, you know, what it meant to kind of work during the lockdown and having a baby in the lockdown as well. I mean, but you've obviously had to change your routine. What's that meant for your career and how are you doing things differently now?
Well, first of all, I think as a performer, you're used to being sociable, and I'm used to going into work and seeing dozens of people. There are hundreds of people even that work at the opera house I was working at. And as a pregnant woman in lockdown, you suddenly realized you're incredibly lonely. You're not getting any real contact. It's just WhatsApp calling people. And you're used to dealing with lots of different people. And that was a big change. Thankfully, my voiceover work continued, and I had the time then to build up my own recording studio at home. So I just recorded some apps for people. I record tourist guides and stuff for places in Austria. And so that kept me busy. And having a baby in lockdown is also not fun. Her dad could only come in the afternoon for 1 hour with a mask.
Yeah, right.
And so it was weird. It was a whole different experience to my first child, you know. So I didn't stay in hospital very long for that reason. It was just kind of weird having to put on a mask to go to the loo, and have, you know, your baby seeing her dad like this. It's kind of strange. So.
I mean, I think, Kim, you can relate to that. You're a mother as well, aren't you?
Yes.
And totally. A grandmom as well.
And a nana. And I had just to travel alone to see the children. It's like you're always on Zoom, you know, but as babies, they don't get it. They're like, what screen? Okay, hey, you look familiar, but I don't know. Yeah. You know, so it's like, you know, you want to have that because my son is away. He's in Vegas, you know, that's where he lives. So that's like a whole 5-hour plane ride, and we don't even know. I mean, it's not safe. We're just still a little nervous when it comes to traveling.
Yeah. But Nora hasn't seen her grandparents either in Britain, and we're just waiting for them to kind of give the green light on that.
We're all waiting.
It's a weird situation, but I think this whole thing with family, certainly for lots of people I know out here, they were kind of suddenly stranded. A lot of Brits were suddenly stranded in Berlin or stranded in, I don't know. And then you have your posse from the theatre, and that's then your net, you know. You don't have the people you would normally choose to have around you in a pandemic, you know. And so it's either made those bonds stronger or not, you know.
Or just she's right.
Let's dig into the community thing a bit, because we've had some comments in the chat, and I kind of, you know, thinking about like, who do you collaborate with? Who are your new collaborators? How do you bring people together? Thanks, Philip Robinson. He said, you know, he really likes the kind of the idea that people need to partner with others, you know, who are passionate about similar things. And kind of, Graeme, you know, you had this whole idea of this super group bringing people together in lockdown to help support their passions, their careers. Tell us about that then, because, you know, this wasn't happening in the normal way, was it?
It was, no, well, you know, I think we all felt a bit isolated, and especially for musicians. You know, they create some music and they go and perform it. That's it. You know, there's obviously lots of other things, lots of other elements around that, but that's essentially being creative and getting out there and doing it. And it suddenly just stopped. It stopped dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
So the supergroup was about bringing people together, and initially just to talk. So when we did our first meeting, we had when we started, I thought, well, I'll try and get 10 people on a Zoom. I spoke to Ricky Wilde and I spoke to a few other friends of mine that were in music, and we had 40 people that wanted to join in 24 hours.
Nice.
And I could only get that. Look, Zoom, to me, this was all new. Zoom, I had a Zoom account, but to me, Zoom was one of the greatest hits by the Fat Larry's band. I didn't really understand even how to use Zoom. I was scared about how do you actually get on there and what do you do? But this is all
welcome to my world.
I know.
So, you know, this has all become normal for us. So the first group was we had 25 people on there because I could get 25 squares, I thought, on a Zoom call, but obviously you can get more because you have 2 pages. And it was about talking. So everybody just introduced themselves and they were talking about what their fears were, how they felt about the industry, what was going to happen in the future, how things were going to change. And no one had any real answers. But I'd been doing a lot of positive mindset coaching in the music industry because there's a lot about performing. There's a lot about when you come off the stage, how flat you can feel. People don't really understand that you put so much into your performance and you come away and you just sort of need to go to sleep or just, you know, so there's all this
big
stuff.
high and a big low.
You know,
it's the adrenaline. It's the adrenaline.
It is
on the stage.
So this was about creatives starting to learn about business, because what happens I've been through 3 recessions. I've been through 3 crises. I'm much better in a crisis because I always feel stronger in a crisis because I know how to come out of it. That's why I like helping people come out of it.
Right.
And it was, okay, what else can you do? And we were solving problems on this super group. There was one artist on there that was actually working in a supermarket because she just couldn't make any money. And it worked out that actually she was really artistic. So we found a way of getting her art onto T-shirts, and she started selling loads and loads of T-shirts. Then there was someone else in the group that wanted some music done. So she got some work through that. And everybody's been collaborating with each other and learning new skills.
Wow.
And it's literally, there's no website. It's literally a logo and a Zoom call. It's an exclusive group and it's by invitation only. And we've got some amazing people on there with a waiting list. And
we'd love to be part of that. How do you get the information?
You have to connect with me afterwards and I'll give you the information. But people are, it doesn't matter what they're doing, but at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, they're on that Zoom call because they're learning more. I mean, the one we've got coming up on Wednesday, I've got somebody coming on who is an expert in self-promotion and merchandising and how to actually create the online platforms so artists can sell their wares, but in lots of different areas. They don't know how to do it. Not everybody knows how to do everything.
They can't. No one knows everything. You need a bit of support and help. And that sounds like a great super group to have. Tell us about your radio show briefly, Graeme.
Oh, my love, my passion, my radio show. I decided a couple of years ago I wanted to be on the radio, but I didn't know anyone in radio and I didn't know anything about radio. But I have these things. I just decide I want to do something and then I go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So I had a really weird journey all the way through. I appeared on Russ Kane's radio show talking about anxiety.
I've met him. Yeah.
Okay. So I was at a mental health evening and I said something controversial and I ended up on his radio show. I could talk about my own anxiety, which I've never spoken about because I've created a methodology where I know how to change your state of mind with a flick of a finger and stay in that positive state of mind for hours, weeks, and months. So I was talking about that. And then I I met a chap called Phil Dave, and we ended up doing podcasts together. And then I ended up coaching a couple of actors, and one of them had a radio show. And I said, I'd love to do a positive 5-minute spot on your show. And I did. And after a couple of months, the owner of the radio show said, would you like your own show? Yes, please. So
amazing.
And I have a passion for 80s music, for jazz, funk and soul. And I love giving acts of kindness, and I love giving. And I just have a Nobby's nugget and I spread positivity.
I love that.
It's gone all over the place. I tell funny stories about things that happen to me. And I also like to, look, we're human beings. We're allowed to get angry and upset. We're allowed to feel bad. We don't have to be positive all the time. In fact, we can just be human, but it's how to get across. So
right.
My thing is about, it's actually better to be in a dark place, because that's the springboard that gets you to that positive place. And we've all learned that in the pandemic.
If I might add that, when you're in the worst place mentally, you often do your best performances, I found anyway. It's kind of sad.
And there's a saying that I've had that someone gave me, and it's not my saying, it's something that someone gave it to me, and I absolutely love it. And I have it on a post-it note on my computer, and it says this: there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
I love that.
Nice.
Graham, you need it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, you do.
Oh yeah.
I think you might know the person. But Graham, that's so cool to think that's how you're bringing people together on Zoom and everything like that. And Kim, you've been bringing people together on Zoom to sing, and you set the She Sangs Academy in lockdown. Yes. I mean, what is that even like, singing on Zoom, and what's that about?
It's awesome. You know why? And it's just giving me so many ideas, because all of the students are different. Some of them are like, oh, I got this. And then some of them are like, yeah, I know I can sing, but I don't know how to stand on stage. Some of them are like, I think too much. I just can't. Sometimes it's a therapy lesson. It's so cute. Sometimes I'm just talking, and we spend the whole hour like, so how was that audition that you had? Well, and then it'll go from there. But it's so interesting because everybody is on a different level. I love the Zoom one-on-one, because now I can just focus on what each student needs. Everybody's in a different place, and what I make them do all the time since we're on Zoom is to videotape themselves singing these songs that we worked on, and I might even give them a random song that they've never sang before. They're unfamiliar with it, and they'll learn it. And so now I'm directing. Okay, so I need you to stand. I need you to sit on the chair and just look like you're not bothered. Fling your hair and just sing, I waited till I saw the sun. And they're like, yeah, they're so stoked. And it's so much fun, and they're so cute. And then I'm like, I have an Italian girl. She has this accent, and it's so cute that I have a Japanese girl. Everyone has these little accents, but when they sing, they're like, they're really singing. So they get it. But when they're not singing, they're like, yeah, so I don't know, I have school tomorrow and everything like that. And I'm like, what? So I get it. When you're on stage, it's a different you. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're performing, it's a different you. And some of them are a little shy, but I bring it out of them, and they're grateful to me. So I have all of these videos of testimonials of them saying how they feel about She Sangs, and how comforting I make them. But that started from me being a host at these open mics, because open mic is completely different. You have people jumping on stage that have no clue. They don't know how to direct the band. They're just singing. They're off pitch. They're off key. But I never made anyone feel insecure. Like, they would always come to me after the show and say, what? You're so nice. We love you. You're encouraging, and I make it a point to be that. So it just spills over into everything that I do.
Amazing.
Kim, Academy.
Give us a little sneak of that, would you, Kim? Can you just give us all a kind of a bit of it? How would we warm up? How would we kind of, break through some of that? Oh, I've got to do this tomorrow. How would you work with someone on that?
Yeah, you just have to, first of all, it's the encouraging words, because they haven't gotten it from anyone else.
Yeah.
So no one else is telling them that. But I'm telling them that all day. Like it's so funny because I did a scale with a student and she was like, I can't get that high. And I said, okay. I said, just sing this song for me. And she sang the song. And then I hit the note and I said, that's the exact same note that you said you couldn't hit.
Amazing.
Just did it like 4 times, you know?
Yeah.
And so she was like, what? Like she couldn't believe it. And I said, yes. I said, I'm helping you, you know, build your range, like open it up and everything like that. And they don't see it until they do it. And then I'm like, ding, 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 ding. That's the note that you just hit that you was having so much problems with.
Amazing.
And they're so happy about it. So yeah, it's just to be encouraging, you know? Yes.
And we're getting a lot of love for this.
And I also told Caroline, like, this is like my little tagline is to be fierce, but stay humble, because that's how you get your blessings. That's how you open up the doors for all that's there for you. You know, be fierce. You got to be fierce. Agree. But be humble. Right. Mm-hmm.
And we're getting a lot of love in the chat for this kind of energy. So Lou Roby says, loving the energy and inspiration of this group. Thank you all. Yay. And then Sharon Leonard says, I've got so much love for this panel. Thank you for sharing your inspiring stories, good energy and positive vibes. Feels like there's really something in that. If we're kind of reflecting on our time then that what we've just done in lockdown, and it wasn't all feeling like that. What are you going to sort of like take from this time and make sure you hold on to it? What's the good stuff and what might you kind of build in beyond? You know, kind of this is what can we learn and take from this? Are you going to keep singing on Zoom, or are we no more? I'm no longer a Zooman. I am human again. Yeah. What are we doing? Are we building any of that still in? Or is there some good stuff we've got to keep?
I mean, there's loads of people saying on here, like, do you think virtual gigs will become more and more popular in this day and age? A way for people to access live gigs anywhere around the world from their sitting room wearing 3D specs. That's come from Dominic.
Well, I had a great experience with improv festivals during lockdown. I found it was insane that I was sitting there in my kitchen at 8 o'clock at night playing a scene with a woman in France I'd never met. And I did a couple of these, and they're still going on. And it was originally, it was coming from, I was Googling it because I always wanted to come to London and do some more improv, and they put all their classes online, which was great. But then you have this effect that it's global. And I just thought, I hope this continues, because that's something anyone can get involved in, right? You don't have to have an actor's training to go and do an improv class. And I just thought, God, this is it's a really positive thing that I hope continues.
But Lynsey, doesn't it keep your chops up? Like it's like you have to apply it. You can't sit around and not sing all day if you're a singer. You have to, the classes help me keep my vocals intact as well. So you have to do what you do.
Yeah, sure. And Zoom rehearsals, actually, I was no stranger to Zoom rehearsals, because about 3 years ago, I did a one-woman show, and the guy who was directing me was in Vienna and I was busy in another city. And we thought, we'll try it over Zoom. And it was a bit clumsy and everything, but we did it. And suddenly other people in lockdown were doing it. And it's great. And now there's a dance festival in Vienna where they've got whole productions that have been rehearsed via teleconference, and they're coming together for the first time for the performance. I mean, it's kind of a bit risky, but if we can cut down our carbon footprint in theatre and film, I mean, that's surely a positive thing. I mean, I know the film industry is a major producer of waste, let's face it. I mean, if there's a way to make our industries greener too, then let's use these technologies.
Also on the super group, we've got a chap on there who's creating a streaming lounge. It's called lounges.tv. And it puts the control of the artist at the forefront. So either way, whether you're performing live, you can still stream to an audience, and pay some money to listen to you, or you can be in your kitchen singing. Because what we've learned from this is a couple of things. The appetite for music is massive.
Yes.
The demand will outstrip the supply. We all want it and we all need it because we've all been locked in cages. So whether it's a live performance or whether it's streaming, whatever it is, there is an audience and an appetite for it. We've learned that. And that's what's happening within our group. The other thing I just wanted to mention is, for me in lockdown, I'm fairly positive anyway. I'd look on the bright side, but I do get upset and angry and frustrated, and I have all of those feelings too. And what I've done is, in lockdown, I've created a 2-week positive mindset experience where I can take people, and in 2 weeks, and I've already done some pilots. In 2 weeks, I can teach someone how to go from how to use your negative emotions and turn them into positive emotions to create a more happier and fulfilling life. Now, I don't say that lightly, because a lot of people profess to do that, but I've been practicing that for 35 years, and I've been through my terrible times and my depressions and everything else, and I've created this methodology. But from the lockdown, it starts like this. This is the most amazing forum. I love, to be on here just by talking and connecting.
Yeah.
Can kickstart your positive mindset. But I've got this methodology. In 2 weeks, I reckon if you do it right and you use a bit of the ingredients that Kimberly's got, because every time she talks, I get a little bit of a shiver because she's so positive, right? It's, although we know the pandemic is contagious, the COVID virus, we also know that positivity is contagious. We know that. Everybody knows that. So if you can be around it and give acts of kindness and give to others, it will just spread.
I think that's absolutely right, Graeme. You're right. And Kim, just you being here has made, everyone being here has been amazing. I know you've joined us all the way from the USS. You were saying you can't stay very long, but we really appreciate you being here today.
You guys rock.
Yeah, Kim, just before you have to fly, tell us the song that kept you going through lockdown. Tell us the song and kind of the thing you're going to keep doing.
Yes, I don't know where they came from, but they're called the Black Pumas, and the song is Colors, and it's an independent artist. I love the harmonies. I love the tempo. I love the way it made me feel. It's on repeat. Like almost, I can literally listen to it 100 times and cook, clean, play with my dog, dance, sing, it's one of those songs that just got me through.
Yeah, and that was your anthem. And that was, and what's the thing you're taking with you out of lockdown and to the festivals, to the gigs? What's the kind of the feeling or the learning or your
the blessing that I'm still here, healthy, number one, and then able to get back into what I do and to make all the people that are in my inbox saying, are you sure you're coming? When are you coming? What's going on? Like to get back at all the people that want to be happy and sing and dance, because who's not singing We Are Family or Good Times? Like who's not doing that? And then I have, and then for my own stuff, Life is a Dance Floor. That meant a lot of people. When, it's like, that's all we want to do is just get back to dancing. So all of those things I can't wait to get back to, because not just for me, but because it makes everybody else happy. It makes the audience happy. It makes my friends happy to see me so they can yell and say, yeah, Kim, they're waiting.
We're waiting. We can't wait for you to get to the UK in August.
I'm coming, girl.
Excited.
Really looking forward to seeing you in real life, Kim. I'm going to Festival, so I'll see you there.
Yes,
Nile Rodgers and
awesome.
Chic. But as you said, Kim, we are family. Thank you to our incredible panel for being part of the Life More Extraordinary family today. Lynsey, Graeme, last thoughts of what's your keeper from lockdown or tracks that kept you going?
Okay, I'd like to give you a couple of tracks and a couple of gifts before we go. Gifts that were given to me that I'd like to pass on. So the two songs that I like, I Found Loving, Fatback Band, and I love that song, and I Am Somebody by Glenn Jones. Get those two. This is a couple of gifts I'd like to give you. Don't work within boundaries. One of the boundaries that we're given is your glass half full or is your glass half empty? That's your attitude to life. Don't work within those boundaries. Take a smaller cup and allow it to overflow.
Overflow it. Yes, Graeme.
And my second gift to you is this, which was given to me, and I actually got shivers as I'm about to say it. Okay. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Woo! Yes. Powerful.
Love it.
Amen.
Church right
Amen.
now, Graeme. You better go ahead.
I'm just going to give you a shout out from the audience. So great motivational session, says Ali Stanley. Thanks, everyone. Adam Harrington, this is so what I needed today. Thank you all. Thank you as well to the audience. Lynsey, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I can just add to what Graeme was saying. This is also, there's definitely room for all those emotions that we've all been feeling. We don't have to pretend, even as artists, that everything's happy all the time. There's room for that. There's room to express that. And yeah, thinking about songs that were inspiring. I was listening to Florence and the Machine, actually quite a lot. Dog Days Are Over. And I ended up using that for a choreography for some kids I've been teaching. And I only found out yesterday that one of the girls doing my choreography is a refugee. And I wondered why it was her personal mobile phone number on all the lists and not any parents or anything like that. And I realized suddenly what, not only her, everyone has their things going on, but what some people are actually going through or have gone through, and how music can heal all of that. Just watching them do their dress rehearsal yesterday, it just like warmed my heart, warmed my cockles. So yeah.
Brilliant. Right, we're going to wrap up now, but like, thank you so much for those incredible words of wisdom from everyone today on our panel. As everyone's been saying, really great motivational session. This is number 7 of Life More Extraordinary. There are more you can catch up with. So do kind of dip back into them. Paul Mccaffery, a great comedian, was on our first ever session. Whose Normal Is It Anyway? He was just doing online gigs. He's just started getting back out there as well. So you can kind of check out Paul. And he had his own production as well. Iris, a little baby in lockdown as well. Congratulations to him and his wife, Alex. But, you know, great to hear from people. Thank you for our
love you guys.
Panel. And bye, Kim. Thank you so much for today. And Lynsey and Graeme, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Caroline, pleasure having you.
Bye, Caroline.
Pleasure.
Go ahead, everyone. Have a life more extraordinary. Join us for our next session.
See you soon.
Great to see you.